We're back, 5:42 the time. Latest developments now with the BART contract talks. BART management has now set midnight Thursday as the deadline to reach an agreement. BART spokesman Linton Johnson says at this point there aren't any plans to impose a new contract if an agreement isn't reached by then. And he also says management hasn't decided yet what the next step will be if the deadline is missed. But as we've been reporting, a key sticking point in the talks at this point are the current work rules and trying to revise those. Kron 4's Mark Jones takes a closer look now at those rules and why they're such a hot topic at the negotiating table.
BART says wasteful work rules cost it millions of dollars. One work rule is called beneficial past practice. Here's an example. Twice during the 1980s, BART says it needed to bring in extra engineers over a holiday. That became a beneficial past practice, a union work rule. Now BART has to bring in extra union employees every holiday, whether they're needed or not. This parking lot is a beneficial past practice. A long time ago, union employees got BART to agree to free parking at the old headquarters. In 2003, BART moved to new headquarters. The free parking moved to this lot. But BART is still paying for the old lot, too, because it's a beneficial past practice. Because a handful of union employees still work the old location, BART is required to keep paying rent on this parking lot. There are 6 union employees parked here today. Total cost? You're not going to believe this. According to this contract, $177,000 over a 5-year period. And today there are 6 cars parked in this lot. BART also wants to limit how long the unions can fight a contract dispute. In 1986, station agents filed a grievance because they weren't getting breaks. They won, but it took 20 years. Because it took 20 years, the arbitrators said BART would have to pay $36 million in back pay. That was bargained down to $6 million. But BART says it could have been almost nothing if there was a sunset clause in the contract. The sunset clause means issues would have to be resolved in a year, not 20 years.
From an outsider standpoint, did it take 2 decades to resolve that because of the union or because of BART?
Well, either way, it would force both sides to have a conclusion.
In Oakland, Mark Jones, Kron 4 News.
All right, from BART now, our other developing story this morning comes out of Oakland, where we're at the scene here of a house fire on Walnut Street by 90th. That's where Jackie Sissel is with his camera this morning. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, James. Yeah, the firefighters are starting to wrap up the scene out here. I am on Walnut between 91st and 90th. We're around 4:30 this morning. The Oakland Fire Department received a call of a house fire. Now that we got out here, it was actually a detached garage in back of an apartment complex. They were able to knock down what little flames there were pretty quickly. Obviously, the big concern was for these early morning fires are the residents inside, people sleeping inside. It appears that this was not necessarily a converted garage, but it looked as though people had been staying inside of it. If they were staying inside of it, according to Oakland Fire Department, they were able to self-evacuate. It looks as though minimal damage. Now, we have an unrelated injury and arrest on this case. Apparently an assault occurred in lieu of or because of the fire. The one person was minor injuries, you can see right there, and another person arrested who assaulted this person apparently, but unrelated to the fire itself. Firefighters are out here right now. They're starting to wrap up hoses. The good news is, James, especially for these early morning fires, no one was injured.
No kidding. And I'm just looking at your live picture here. I see some neighbors milling around. Has anybody come up to you or had a chance to chat with you about the neighborhood in particular? Do we know anything about this neighborhood much?
No, it's East Oakland. It's kind of behind the Oakland Coliseum in that area.
Okay.
A little more east of that. Yeah, there's a lot of families. This is an apartment building. Let me push into it. You can see apartment building. It looks to be multiple units, so the good news is that this detached unit, the fire didn't spread to that, but I can tell you there are a lot of people standing out on the sidewalk holding blankets in their pajamas.
Wow. All right, Jackie. Thank you very much. Jackie Sissel out there live. He's still trying to get a hold of Oakland Fire's spokesperson, see if we can't get any official comment on exactly what caused this blaze to begin in the first place. Anyway, we'll check back with him throughout the morning. Thank you, Jackie. At 5:47, let's get over to the Weather Center now, where Evelyn's tracking the fog this morning and the temperatures this afternoon. Good morning, Ev.
Good morning, James. Slightly cooler, I'm sorry to say, this afternoon, providing relief only by the coast. 5:49 is the time right now. Let's get a check on traffic with George.
And let's do a construction update for the ongoing road work on 238, the connector freeway that runs between the Nimitz Freeway. All right, the time is now 5:51. We'll take a short break and have more when we return on the Kron 4 Morning News.
And we're back. 5:54 is the time. Let's talk a little bit about helmet laws here in the Bay Area. There's a battle brewing sort of between helmet laws between El Cerrito and the state of California. See, in California, the law states that anyone under the age of 18 must wear a helmet. Well, El Cerrito has its own law that says everyone, no matter what your age, has to wear a helmet. And that's starting to cause some problems for folks in that area. They're complaining about it. Kron 4's Jonathan Bloom explains why.
I just thought it was insane.
Michael Schaller was riding his bike to work when a cop pulled him over and wrote him a $127 ticket for not wearing a helmet. Schaller's ridden the same route for years, but it's the first time anything like this had happened. You see, it turns out as soon as you cross this line into the city of El Cerrito, you're required to wear a helmet if you're riding a bike in this bike lane or anywhere else in the city. This 8-foot-tall welcome sign doesn't say anything about bike helmets, and as far as we could find, neither does any other sign in the city. There are signs about bike lanes, bike routes, and bike trails, but nothing about bike helmets, even though El Cerrito's the only city in California that requires adults to wear them. There are signs about parking, signs about speeding, but nothing about biking with the wind in your hair. And Schaller's attorney says that's not legal.
It has to notify those citizens of that ordinance before it runs out and starts issuing tickets. That is just a basic fairness requirement.
They took the ticket to court and a judge ruled Schaller not guilty. But last week, a Kron 4 producer saw police in El Cerrito giving out more tickets to bareheaded cyclists, even though there are still no signs.
It doesn't make much sense because, I mean, if they really want people to wear helmets, it doesn't seem like the best way to do it. I mean, not tell people about it and then write tickets.
We called El Cerrito police to ask them why, but they never called back. Schaller's conclusion?
Maybe they were just out for some cash.
In El Cerrito, Jonathan Bloom, Kron 4 News.
All right, 5:56 is the time. We've got to take another break, but as we do, we'll go back outside, give you more live images out of Oakland this morning, where firefighters are wrapping up the scene here at a house fire on Walnut and 90th Avenue, where they arrived about 4:30 this morning. That's when the call went out. A detached garage behind this house, apartment building, caught fire. Jackie Sissel's out there live. We'll visit with him in just a little bit and get the latest. Stay with us.